to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom. And in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Seraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms. Really want to thank everyone that has subscribed to this channel. We're about to hit 80,000. I wasn't even looking at it like that, but absolutely amazing. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks to our spiritual family on Patreon. We do share much more information about the pandemic and everything that's going on, because we are in very interesting times, beloveds. And as much as everything is happening, there are so many distractions. There's just so much going on that first you should be seeking yourself, But I think this is a very important season. I've been spreading this message of moving in silence, and it is absolutely critical to move in silence. And as more and more as we get into the seasons and times ahead, it's going to become life-saving, because now what we're seeing governments doing is they're actually getting friends to snitch on one another. They're getting friends to, or family members to reveal who's gotten and who hasn't. They're getting, friends to, on Facebook, they were asking, do you have any radical friends? I think they had to withdraw that question, but they were doing this survey when they were asking, do you have any radical friends, etc., etc. So, beloveds, this is the season where you need to move in silence. I keep telling you, no more time for debate, beloveds. No more time for the arguments back and forth, and this is the truth and this is not the truth, and this is what happened and that is what happened. That time is over. Right now, you should just be making moves for you and your family, and you shouldn't let anyone know. You shouldn't let anyone know what you're up to, beloveds. There's so many people who had told me they intended to be out of Babylon by, by summer this year. And they're still stuck in Babylon because they shared that information with the wrong person. And people, beloveds, the mind creates the all. So, people's thoughts can impact your decisions, especially if you have given them, a special seat at your table. They usually say, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are, and apparently, the 5 people that you interact with and spend the most time with literally are weaving the future that you're creating for yourself. And, a lot of us, because especially, us melanated ones, because of the way we've been raised, there's a lot of family members. There's a lot of dead weight around us, beloveds. There's a lot of family members that really we're not on the same vibrational match, and if push came to shove, they may sell us out because they think we're not we're not this or we're not that. In fact, I got an email from a lady who literally had to, a lot of people will criticize this decision, abandon her husband and leave her children behind in Europe, because she was really against them getting the and she did everything, and then she didn't want it, and it reached a point in those swirling relationships where the guy actually tried to have her committed for her ideas. Like, this is not a joke now, beloveds. Some of the things, find communities that are like you. Otherwise, just keep your opinion to yourself. Keep your moves to yourself. Because the ignorance is getting crazier, beloveds. And we are moving into a full surveillance state, a full Big Brother state, where literally people will be spying on their neighbors, especially now with this trace and match or whatever. Like, if you're in an apartment building, they're now able to tell like the temperature of the people in the next apartment. So we're moving into the full-on military police global state, beloveds. And so the less you say, the better. Like, for real, for real. The less you share, the better. It's good for us to share this knowledge. And it's not to move in fear or anything like that. We don't fear. There's someone who says fear is false evidence appearing real. But there is no fear. There's nothing to fear. But it is wise to be cautious at such a time as this when the group think. You see, the group think is the magnet that pulls us all. And so if the group thought, if the group consciousness has accepted the pandemic, then even if we don't, we're all drawn into this experiment and we're the outliers, we're the ones who are being rebels, etc., etc. But so many of our people are asleep, beloveds, that they might actually think that by snitching on you, they're saving your life. And then if you have children involved, don't share your business. Don't share whether this happened, whether it didn't happen. It's really no one's business, beloveds. And don't share your radical ideas unless you're with similar vibrational people. But beloveds, this is the time, and I've been talking about this for at least a year, to cut people off, to do a freaking audit, or what do they call it? Like inventory, not the inventory check or whatever, on your friends. An audit, that's the word I was looking for. An audit of your friends. And see who are those that are for me and who are those that would be against me if push came to shove. Because I told you, beloveds, if you don't stand in your own truth, you're going to die in someone else's lie. And it might not be because, you haven't stated your truth. So you just get pulled along in their lie. But it may be that you're on opposing sides and they may see your truth as dangerous. So that's why I'm saying disconnect from everything related to Babylon, including family and friends. Share less. Move in absolute and total silence, beloveds. Listen more. Because people reveal to you who they are. Listen. Because there's also some closet, truthers, or some closet awakened ones who really aren't. And if fear came in, or if the government was to take away one or two of their conveniences, they'd crumble. It's like I've been watching there's a really nice series. There's this guy I follow. I think it's called 4cyclesoflife.com. That's his YouTube channel. And he's been talking about, the different scenarios. He's been acting out the different scenarios that people are, getting involved in. Like, beloved, they've started rolling out the door-to-door searches. People are knocking on people's doors. So you don't need to be having unnecessary conversations with your neighbor about what you've done with your life and what you've taken, what you've not taken. You don't even need to let them know that you're making moves. Like, really keep every information you have on a need-to-know basis. Unless you're a chosen one to speak at this time, don't put yourself in the, in the line of fire, quote unquote. Because us who are speaking now, we have certain reinforcements and spiritual and mental and physical barriers in place. Chosen and prepared for such a time as this. But beloveds, it's getting really crazy out there. Trust no one. Trust in your own intuition. Don't even trust in the voices that you hear. Don't even trust in what I'm saying. Test it. Does it resonate? Does it feel right for you? If it doesn't, keep it moving. If it does, dig deeper. Because that could be a key to your continuous liberation. They're going to be pitting one against the other, beloveds. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Welcome back, beloveds, to Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Seraki. How you doing? How's everything going? It's going to become increasingly necessary, beloveds, to move in silence, to move in wisdom, to be as innocent as a dove, but as wise as a serpent, because it's becoming slippery out there. And as we move into the global police military state, it's going to be literally a big brother where neighbors are spying on neighbors, children are spying on their parents, brothers are telling on their sisters, Facebook friends are revealing that you're a radical who spreads all this information on their groups. I mean, those are the times we're in, beloved. So this is really a time for retreating and for doing your own thing and for building next, starting to work on your community, just removing your energy from Babylon so that your spirit can show you what you need to be doing, because there's a lot that each and every one of us, especially if we've chosen ourselves for such a time as this, that we need to be doing. This is foundation season. This is building season. That's where all our energy should be. And so unnecessary talk, cut it out of your life. And also, beloveds, you need to start looking at how strong are the people around you. Because the marathon is not physical. It's not just about physical fitness. It's about the mental. You can't afford to have close-minded people around you at such a time as this, or at least don't allow them to be in your inner circle. You really need to start creating those concentric circles in your life. Like, if you know that the 5 people that you share your energy with most are influencing your life, then you need to evaluate and assess and ensure that those 5 people are adding absolute value. If they're not, step them back in a circle. Like, let's just say you have siblings or you have parents who have fallen for the experiment, who are not as open-minded or as, how do you put it, awakened as you. But you don't want to just, you can't kick them to the curb. They kind of have to be there. Give them a bit of breathing room from your life. Don't share your plans with them. Don't tell them you want to move to Africa. Don't tell them you're trying to get some land in a rural area. Like, so many people have been emailing me about, I wanted to do this, but I got into this huge argument with this person, or I wanted to do, I wanted to move to the rural areas, but my family just thinks I'm ridiculous for doing this, and all these things. I'm trying to grow my own food, and my husband thinks I'm totally crazy for doing that. All these things, beloveds, because you can't deny what the Spirit is telling you, and you have to be moving spiritually by now. But the enemies are everywhere. Like, it's so crazy to even think like that. But you need to reduce your life. Like, I've been saying, dial down your life, dial down your interactions, keep conversations to the weather. Oh yeah, the weather's crazy right now. Yeah, have you seen those floods in Europe? Done. Don't be having liberational talk with people who have sold their souls to Babylon and would die for Babylon. Because part of the reason that the melanated nations have been in this position is because our own people told our secrets. They revealed what they knew. They weren't the highest. It wasn't the highest that revealed, but it was someone who was around the highest that gleaned some information and then quickly passed it on to the enemy. And the enemy used that little information to try and oppress us. The same thing is current. I mean, we're literally in a global colonization move. That's exactly what's happening, not to sound dramatic. And so if you're going to be part of the system, you need to be, first of all, I hope you're not going to be part of the system, but if you have to be because of one reason or another, I really do pray that you will disconnect yourself as much as possible from anyone who is showing you they love Babylon. They still want to be part of Babylon. They're thinking like Babylon. A lot of those people are our parents and our siblings and the older folk among us, the Christians among us, the ones who still believe in Mzungu Jesus. I mean, that alone should already just tell you we're different. That alone, I mean, you don't even need to start telling them, the Bible was like this, the Bible was like that. They missed these books. They've missed that boat. But the sad thing is they could turn on you in the future. And maybe it won't even be with malintent. Maybe they'll just be sharing information about you innocently. Who knows where this surveillance state will go? And you see, beloveds, also being with weak ones, because there's a point where you're going to have to throw those mobile phones and those tablets and everything away and have that discipline, or have like a shack, which is totally sealed from, from any kind of monitoring where that's the only place you use your mobile phone. So you literally won't be walking around the city with your phone because they'll be able to trace you. So if that's the level you're going to, then you can't hang out with friends who literally can live without their phones. You see what I mean, beloveds? Who aren't even aware of that reality. Like you have to distinguish in your own heart. Where are you are you on this journey, on this revolutionary journey? Are you someone who's going to go all the way? You're willing to leave every gadget of Babylon, everything that is tied to Babylon. You're willing to make those hard choices? Or are you kind of 50-50, like, okay, I'll stock up, but I'm still going to, stay in my nice mansion in the city because, I don't think it's going to get that bad. Like, you have to decide. And then when you decide, especially if you're the hardcore, like you're going all the way with this, you're looking to build an off-grid home, have your own food, etc., and you're really going to go the full throttle with this, then you need to start preparing now and looking at the kind of friends around you, beloveds, at the kind of people around you. Are they strong enough to endure till the end? If they're not, then start saying your goodbyes. And now you don't even have to reveal your position. If you know you've been the radical one among your friends, just stop sharing. It's not like you have to change who you are. Just they're not the ones that you need to be sharing that information with. If someone asks if you've done this, yeah, I did. If you know that they're of the system, because they might repeat that information one day. Like, that's the levels we're reaching, beloveds. I really hope I'm not sounding paranoid. Let me know in the comments if you've been feeling this. Like, say less, listen more, and really look at who people really are right now. Because you see, as chosen ones and awakened ones, there are also many among our family and among our friends who need us right now. We're like the beacon of light for them. But it's like crabs in the bucket. They would pull us down in order to jump on step on our heads to get out. They'll use the information, but if they feel they're sinking, then they're going to get you to sink with them. And you've already seen it. It's been a year of the lockdown and the pandemic. So you know where people stand. And so you have to know that people will also not, because people now are in fear, they've been in lockdown, there's so much uncertainty. When you seem to have a plan, many will try and hop on that plan. And especially with the upcoming economic crash and everything that's going to be happening, beloveds. If you're the only one who's been talking day and night about prepping in your family, best believe at least 20, 30 relatives are going to try show up at your door. Unprepared, undisciplined, with the wrong mindset, panicking. And that will be a strain on you, beloveds. So that's why you really need to be assessing and letting go gently, at least creating some distance with certain friends and family who just don't have the mental capacity to make it, like for real, because they will pull you down. Babylon ain't joking. And you'd better not be joking either. Tuko pamoja.